If I'm being honest, then I must say that the whole idea of being strong is a myth. It's more of a curse than it is a blessing. Being a strong black woman, because I don't think anybody realized what it means to be a strong black woman, except for strong women, because we are not an island, and we were not meant to be alone. We were not meant to be this strong. And a lot of times when we're strong in one area, we're pulling away from another area. And I know my greatest strength is motherhood. It's something that kind of came naturally to me, and I wore it like a badge of honor. Other places will lack, where other people, things, and priorities fall second to my kids. That's where my biggest heartstring is. I have just publicly admitted that my daughter has epilepsy. And before, it was a secret. And I don't know why it was a secret. We didn't intend for it to be a secret. It was just one of those things where we knew she was more fragile than other kids. We knew that she was different. And so everybody just adjusted. And without thinking, without realizing, without knowing, we just made it work. And she went 6 years without any medication and without having a seizure. So in those 6 years, I did what I did with Micaiah. I allowed Cam to do gymnastics, to do softball, and then finally basketball stuck. And it was really good for her. It stuck to her. She loved the game. She was good at it. And last year, in the middle of a pandemic, I allowed her to play basketball. And it was the very first game getting back out there after being on lockdown. And we were in Atlanta. And I had a million things going on in my head before. And I was doing a Saturday training class, so I got up extra early, made sure the car was packed up, the girls had everything. And when the minute we got to the church where they were playing, I changed out of my flip-flops and I put on a pair of tennis shoes. And I hate tennis shoes in the summer, but it was God's way of telling me that I was going to need these tennis shoes. And we got in and she played, and the minute that her coach took out the game, she fell to the floor and she had a seizure. And now my dirty secret was exposed. I couldn't hide it anymore. And not only did my dirty secret expose me, but my child had fallen from her chair to the floor, and blood was everywhere. When the coach called us, I was in the back of the gym, and because I didn't have on flip-flops, I had on these Nikes. We shot straight across the court, and I didn't realize it until later, but I fell to my knees, and I wasn't prepared. I was down there and I was covered in her blood, and I was asking for them to give me something to wipe up her blood, and she still hadn't come back to me. And I was calling her, and I stopped breathing. I held my breath. And the amazing group of moms that we were with, they were on the ground with us. And some of them even got my youngest daughter out the way. And on the floor was my daughter, in between life and death, in between this world and the next. And all I could think about is my heart can't beat and my breath can't continue until my daughter comes back. And so then we thought, okay, so it was an isolated incidents, the seizures are gone away, and then bam, they come back to back, like with a vengeance that I've never seen before, and I can't figure them out, and now I can't hide them, but I'm not supposed to hide them anymore, because the minute that I started to feel sorry for myself, God convicted me, and he said, but look how y'all making it. And even I took her to Nashville, and I had been so tired and so restless and so sleepy and so desperate for answers. I drove to Nashville, and I looked how I felt. I had on Nikes, I had on a jacket, I had a purse. I was tired, so I dressed tired. And what I noticed, the first thing I noticed was that the doctor treated me how I looked. She kind of wrote me off, and I felt that in the beginning. But I'm not your average mom. I've done my research. I know what kind of medicine she's supposed to be on. I know what the doctor told me. I know what the test is supposed to say. I know what this doctor said. I had my research, and I found the calendar from 2019 when the seizures were really bad. I mean 2009 when they were bad. I knew my stuff. But I couldn't figure out what was going on with my baby. And I still can't figure it out, and they can't figure it out, and they don't know why she went 6 days chained to a bed in the hospital and she didn't have a seizure. But the doctor told me that if she ever missed any medication, she was guaranteed to have a seizure. She did. And now they're coming and they're not basketball related, so what is it? I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm not being tested for my own benefit, because I just asked Micaiah, when Cam was having seizures and you were little, who was putting you in the car? Who was getting you ready? Who was waking you up? Who was making sure you had on a jacket? Who was doing it? She said she was. So she had conditioned herself not to be able to sleep, so that when I yelled and screamed in the middle of the night because Cambria was having a seizure, and she knew to get up and get herself dressed and get in the car without being told to. And that's heavy. And even more so, I joke with her and I say, when Cam had a seizure at the bowling alley when we were at a birthday party, Micaiah was holding her, so as she began to seize, she called her. So I say, you saved your sister's life. How do we adjust? I don't know how we adjusted, but we just made it work. And then the village around us just surrounded us and supported us, and a lot of people have held this dirty secret with us. And I guess I say all this to say that the strong woman that I pretended to be, I'm not. I was one of the women that wore the mask in my book. I just made it happen, and I knew I had to, because she was depending on me, and nobody could do for her what I was supposed to do, and how I'm supposed to take care of her. And it hasn't been easy, and I haven't always been this comfortable with it. I was ashamed, like I had done something wrong. And we've watched over her like hawks at times, where nobody would even know that we're there. I remember the first time she told me, can you stop walking me to class? I'm a kindergartner now. Nobody else's mom walks them to class. It hurt my feelings so bad. And so I said, okay, sure, yeah, I'll let you walk to your class. And so I let her get out the car, and I let her I wanted her to think that she was going by herself, and I would hide when she turned around behind the doors. And she said, I know you're back there. And I think from that moment on, all three of them, even though I hadn't had the youngest one yet, realized that no matter where they go, or how far they go out, or how deep it looks, or how bad it looks, that there's never going to be a time where they don't have to turn around, because they know I'm back there, or I'm right there in it with them, or I'm down there with them. I've witnessed some things that I really really could have went 2 or 3 lifetimes without seeing. In October, she was celebrating her 15th birthday, and her friend said, and we was on the floor having a seizure in the bathroom. She was face down on the bathroom floor at a restaurant. And so my first instinct, I fell down on the ground with her, and I crawled under the stall. Her dad went over the stall. Her sister was trying to push through the stall, and I gave her medication, and I hit a wall. I couldn't do anything else. I stopped breathing. I stopped moving. I couldn't even feel. And I watched my daughter jump over me and take control. And it was like an out-of-body experience that I can't explain, but I know it aches and it hurts your heart so bad because you can't take it away. And that's all I ask God is, why her? Why not me? Like, give that to me. But she carries her cross with so much grace, and she doesn't want to be treated differently. She doesn't want anybody to know, probably, which is why we probably held her secret, but she's always worn a bracelet or something to let us know she wasn't just any kind of pony. She was a unicorn, like a black magical unicorn. I call her a unicorn. I said I gave birth to 3 freaking unicorns, but what hurts the most is they don't know where they're coming from. So they don't know which side of the brain they're coming from, what's causing them, what could stop it. And that's the scariest thing of all, because it's hard to let go when all I've ever known was to hold on. But I just want to encourage somebody who else's child may have epilepsy or seizures or any kind of disorder. Have your good days and have your bad days, and don't let anybody that don't know what you're going through try to tell you what you should feel and how you should feel, because nobody knows what it's like. And I'm not doing this for sympathy. I really am doing it because I feel like there's so many other black kids that their health is being ignored, or their parent may be written off, but you won't write me off, because I'm going to do my research, and I'm going to make sure that if there is anybody that I advocate for, it's for my kids, because I know how ugly the world can be with them if you don't have a loving environment. So with that being said, it's bad, but I don't think he would have given me this battle if he felt like I was going to break years ago, because I guess I don't have a choice. I can't break. And nobody will know what it's like to see the name of a school flash and your heart stop. And she said, it's the attendance office, or it was a mistake that they didn't mark her there. My heart stops. Or when you pull up to the job and there's an ambulance parked outside, my heart stops. And that's the worst kind of pain I could ever describe, when your heart stops. But not only when it stops, but it feels like there's a grip on it, like a death grip, that it holds it until she opens her eyes and she sees me, and I make her say who I am. And that's when I can breathe again. But I've never really stopped breathing. And I didn't stop my movement because I'm giving her medicine and I'm calling her back to this side. So I never stop what I'm doing, but I'm not living until she comes back. So there are resources out there for people with epilepsy. I don't know everything about every disease, but I do know about advocating for myself, advocating for my kids. And I just encourage anybody, black, white, whatever your nationality is, to do your own research and stand up for what you don't believe in, and stand up for what you do believe in, because we are our kids' first ally, their first best friend, their first person that they can't understand why you aggravate them so much, but you love them at the same time. So you're their first example of speaking up for yourself or speaking up for them. And so I would encourage everybody to at least do it.